Well, g'day everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend. It's Sunday and it's nearly all over. It's been a bit of everything here in Les Abdelone. Sun's streaming out at the moment, blue sky. It was foggy and overcast this morning. We had Nord and his one-day boat turn up. He's one of the last ones. He's a local guy here. So went out on the water for a change instead of being sitting on the computer. A few things happening with boats and bits, which we'll talk about, and certainly a few are on the move. You know, they're getting a kick with the trade winds, so the whole fleet's starting to pick up and keep going. And not sure about Christian yet. He's supposed to be. The authorities on Galapagos said, "Get out of here." He's supposed to leave within the next 3 minutes. He was told to be out of the place by 7 o'clock this morning. We'll have to wait and see what happens. The boat's not moving yet, but anyway, more about that later. So we will go straight to the tracker. We've got a few people turning up now and see what's going on. Walk through. I haven't had a look yet, so this will all be new to me as well. So let's see what we got. I had a basic look. Okay, so you've got the tracker there. I've got the tracker here. I'll just make it a little bit bigger there. These should be the 1600 positions. Yes, they are. As I just push that around, I'll put the snail trails on. I like looking at them. And here we go. So trade winds. Let's see where they are first off, because Renaud he's turned the corner already, and this brings up a very interesting issue. We'll go through the fleet first. I think we'll just look at the stats first, and then I'll put the equator on. You can see now. Here's the equator right up here. So basically everyone is under the equator except for 99 and 100. They're hoping to leave on Wednesday, if you didn't see that. So it'll be good to have them back on the water. But boy, they got some ground to cover to catch up. It'll be just over 2 weeks behind the rest of the fleet. So anyway, Josh is doing 2.5 knots and did a 52-mile day, which is reasonable. So this is absolutely the trade winds down here. So if I had to pick it, there's only 2 boats actually in the trades. It's Renaud and Pila, and all of a sudden now Renaud is showing the lead spot. Whereas just the other day it was, if we look right up here, it was Gary. But now he's turned the corner. He's in the trades, and Pila is in the trades as well. But in the back here, there's still a bit of a breeze coming up from that, so let's hope it holds. It'll keep the tail enders moving. 2.5 knots, 52 nautical mile day, as I said, for Josh. Now, Kristen is actually in Porto Ayoro, or whatever it's called. He's still there at the 6 o'clock, 1600 position. And as I say, so, hang on a sec, he's on the 12 o'clock. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe he's on the go. I thought that would have been the same. I had a look and he hadn't moved, but I don't know why he's on. He's on 12 and the others are on 1600. But anyway, maybe he's gone. I spoke to his manager a couple of hours ago, and they were still deciding what was going to happen. It's going to be Christian's decision, but I'll explain that later on. So no stats for Christian. He's probably still sitting there at anchor. Ayrton stretching his legs, 4.3 knots, so they've got quite a solid breeze there. That's pretty good. 82-mile day. He's not complaining about that. And Eric is doing 3.9 knots, 48-mile day. It's interesting because Ayrton's obviously got plenty of breeze there. We'll see how it holds up. Whereas Eric is heading down south trying to get to the breeze, but he might not have to. But we'll wait and see. 48-mile day. Then Adam. He's lost quite a bit of ground, has Adam. I'm not sure what's going on there. 3.7 knots at the moment, 33-mile day. Because all of a sudden, Jacob is on a blinder, 4.3 knots and a 71-mile day. He's basically caught up to Adam. Now, that's the first time Jacob's got anywhere close to being up, to mid-pack if you take away his broken ribs and all the rest of it. So Jacob's doing really well, and Adam's slipping a little bit behind there. And same too with Jasmine, 2.8 knots. Only did 41 mile a day, but she's up with Adam as well. And Jacob's, continuing the climb. So not too bad. Anyway, 2.8 knots. So that's the residual from the trades. It's just a breeze, but I'm not sure what Jacob's up to. Maybe he ditched all his water to save weight or something. I'm not sure. But he's flying because Adam's only doing 3.7. Maybe it's some current. We'll have a look at that once we go through the whole fleet. Mark's over there. He's started to move 4.2 knots. And Kerry, very much concentrating on boat speed and so on, although he's pushing out a lot of social media at the moment. Jane just put a bunch of his clips together and put them up on YouTube. We put one up on Facebook, but we can't share his social media posts at the moment. We've asked him to take it off private, but still no luck. Hopefully it'll happen in a number of hours or days or something, and we can share things across because he's been putting out some interesting stuff. 4.8 knots and 73 mile day. So he's absolutely on a roll. Slowly catching up to Dan, 4.5 knots and 75 mile day. Oh, it means that he lost 2 miles on that. But over the last 24 or 36 hours, Kerry's come down a lot and come across to join Dan, and they're all on the hunt now for Renaud. So, Eggplant Dan. Now, Jane gave me a bit of curry about this because some of you might not have seen the eggplant picture because we didn't share it across. But suffice to say, Dan made some very bold claims about certain appendages that he had on his body. And whilst it was bearing on being a nautical picture, instead of having a naked picture, instead of having his private parts, he put a big eggplant there. Was it big or was it small? We've got no idea. Was it one thing or the other? We've got no idea. But let's just say his appendages are now being referred to as eggplant. So it could be Eggplant Dan. I'll let him try and explain that on his next post. But anyway, it was very funny. So that's the reference to eggplant. And Jane was saying, oh, people won't know what I'm talking about. So get on his site and you'll see the picture. It was just too amazing to share. So Dan Turk, 4.4 knots and 79 mile day. So he's picked up a couple on Dan Eggplant Dan. So Canadan's doing pretty well. Peeler doing 4.9 knots and 101 mile day. It's been a long time since we've seen a 101 mile day. So she's very hungry to keep up with Renaud. They'd be on the, I think they'd be on the VHF, maybe just. Renaud 109. So here we go. If the trades hold there, and this is at 5 degrees. Remember we said that the trades are going to fluctuate around about 5 degrees. That's why Renaud's come down a little bit, and just recently he's now heading to the west. So he considers he's in it. And Peeler and Co are all still heading down a bit just to get down by 5, and then hopefully they'll hold it as well. So before we talk about tactics, so we've got to go up to Gary. Gary's still holding north, 2.8 knots. He wasn't moving very fast. He's got breeze. So we will now shrink it back a bit and we'll look at the current and the wind. So first of all, let's just look at the currents to see who's been sitting in it and who hasn't. Doesn't look too bad. I picked it up. I'm going up and down like a yo-yo at the moment. Okay, so Renaud is clear of the current. Dan Turk has still got a little bit of current. Eggplant Dan is out of the current. Kerry's got a little bit going against him. Ayrton, virtually nothing. And Eric, virtually nothing. Josh, very little, be less than a third of a knot probably, coming from the side there. And Jasmine's got a bit more, but it's coming from the side. Just going to push her over a bit. And both Jacob and Adam have had very little, maybe half a knot or less, maybe a third of a knot, something like that. So not a lot of current stuff going on. Gary's got a bit of a boost here, but he wants to start coming down now. So that's still going to be an unfolding story there. And if we just zip this forward just to see any changes, okay, Gary's is going to turn into a head current. This is actually 4 days ahead, so he'll be out by then. We'll go back to 3 days. It's not going to help him much. There's not a lot going on here. These guys will all be pushing forward, and Renaud will be having a little bit of a boost. So currents are fading in their importance at the moment. So we'll go back to the wind, and then we'll walk the wind forward a bit and see what we're likely to get in the next few days. And I'll get a little pop up here. I'll get rid of that. I can get rid of that one. Okay, so that's current real-time weather. We'll forget about Gary in a minute for the moment because we can't fit him on the screen, but we'll come back to that because I don't want to go any smaller. So just pushing this forward a bit. Hit that to push it forward. Okay, so here we go. So really, I need to go bigger to see what's happening with the trade winds as well, or get a bigger picture so we can see what's happening underneath, and Gary will get a look in then. Okay, so there's the trade, solid, with better, more solid greeny colour. Once you move the scale, you've got to hit that again. Okay, so Jasmine and Co, the guys in the middle of fleet, nothing really happening between now and tomorrow, right? It's just light winds. But Kerry and everyone south of him, Kerry and Dan and Peeler, are going to get the breeze. They'll hold that breeze, and pretty much whilst on the edge of the trade wind, I think it'll still keep moving pretty well because it's on the beam. They'll be able to go max beam for an A3 or something. Beam wind on an A3, and they'll all be doing pretty similar. So it's a bit of a drag race. So this is going through to the 8th. So there we are at the 8th, and again, so that's 2 days out. I think the mid fleet by then will be up into this patchy stuff here. So within the next 2 days, the majority of the fleet, virtually everyone except for Gary, is going to be in this sort of stuff, which is looking like trades. There's a few holes. It's not a really strong one. There's a few, you can see this solid green and open green. So this is all 10 to 15 knots. It's not a solid, powerful trade wind. I'd say probably even 8 to 12 knots sometimes. But it's enough to keep going because it's on the beam or just after the beam or something. So they'll be back into 100, 110 mile days, things like that. So that's within the next couple of days. So just keep pushing it a bit more. Then it's softening off, but it's not too bad. They'll be looking pretty good. Gary's going to have some challenges by the look of it now. This is the 9th, so you've got 3 days of light stuff. Gary's the loser on this one. By the time we get to there, let's say 10 knots. That's the 10th. I'll give it one more kick. Then if we say we're going to get an average of 70 miles, and that's the 10th forward, it's 150, 300 miles. So let's just push the middle fleet 300 miles out, see where it is. Okay, middle fleet 300 miles out. They're going to be about here. So yeah, the middle fleet, 1.5 days to 2 days, they're going to be in this sort of reminiscing the trades, pushing to the west. The leaders will basically, from Kerry down, they're basically there already, and it's just going to get a bit stronger for the ones that are further north. So that all looks reasonably encouraging. So what's the big picture look like, and distances, how far to go to the Marquises? There they are right over here. So I will hit that, and we'll just pick a random spot there and a random spot here. So we've got 2,900 miles to go. I think it's fair to say they'll be easily doing an average speed of 100 miles a day. So there's 29 days, but they'll be doing better than that. I think a lot of them will be doing 110, 120 mile days, things like that. So instead of 29 days, could push it down to 25 days. So that's 3.5 weeks, say, from now. So that's a rough stab in the dark for the Marquises. If you said 3.5 weeks, they've still got a long way to go. But they've done particularly well so far. And in fact, let's just see Renaud, distant, forget that, they don't go distant last 24 hours. Nope, they don't do that. I think it's on the leaderboard, distance travelled. So let's just have a look at the leaderboard. Still got a few things to come in there, but I'm just mainly doing it to see the distance they've done so far. Okay, so distance sailed. So they've done something like 1,200 miles, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, they're going to have done another. Okay, so they'll be 1,400 miles, and it's close to averaging 100 miles a day. So by Tuesday, today's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 2 more days. So that's another 100. So that's it's nearly 100 miles a day from Panama for the leaders. That's not bad. It's actually a very good time. That we're starting to see. So if we so that's 14 days and 25 days. That's 35. 40 days. It's pretty good. So it's sort of what we were saying in the beginning. We were saying, well, it could go out to 50 or 55, but if the numbers add up, it could be 35, 40 days, and it's looking like that might be the case. So the fleet's doing pretty well indeed. Okay, so that's enough of the leaderboard. We don't have to worry about positions. You can see what's happening. It's going to be a drag race now once they all get down there. And what else? Let's go for the converging distance for Kerry and Renaud. Okay, it'll give you an idea of how this all falls in place, because I think Kerry's adopted a track. I'm using Kerry as an example, but Peeler is doing the same, and so's Eggplant Dan. Doesn't sound the same ring as Holiday Dan, does it? Maybe we'll forget the eggplant. It's just a whim in the dark of the night or something. And it was all a furphy anyway. It's not that big. Anyway, so we'll keep him on with Holiday Dan, more relevant. So what we got to consider now, if we pick a position, and it works like this, there's Kerry's current track. I think you'll hold that. So we come down, if I put a bead on him here, I need another one, and pick a spot about here, right? So it's 100, we'll take it out to exactly 200 miles. So there's 200-mile track for Kerry, and that's about where I reckon he'll be, right? So imagine Kerry's got 200 miles to get to that position. Renaud's got 112 miles to get to that position. So you could say that Kerry is about 90 miles behind Renaud at the moment. Does that make sense? So 90 miles, average of 5, 92s are 18, so he's about 18 hours behind Renaud, and he left 12 hours after Renaud. So he's lost some ground, so he's got his work cut out for him. So bearing in mind, Renaud has got 112 miles to go. We'll do Peeler differently. Dan's got 170, say 180. There's 110. Dan's about 70 miles behind Renaud at the moment. Hope that makes sense. And just for the sake of the exercise, Dan Turk is about 120 miles behind. Right? You can divide that by 2, or say 5 knots average, if you're really moving. So if he's 120 miles behind, it's about 24 hours. So he's about a day or so behind Renaud. Not bad after 2 weeks. Okay, now Peeler, I'll treat that a bit different. The way I'd work that out, they're both on a similar track, and I'll put it about there. Peeler is about 50 miles behind Renaud at the moment, and that's pretty impressive. That's 10 hours, which is nothing. 10 hours in 2 weeks or thereabouts is so. And she could give Renaud a run for his money, because she's been sailing really fast. Even now, when you look at it now, she's doing 4.9, 101 mile day. Renaud's got stronger winds, and he's doing 5.1 at 109 mile day. So Peeler's given him a push. So we've got to all encourage everyone. Not that we like Renaud, he's doing well, he deserves to be there. But everyone else, cheapers, hurry up! We got to give him something to, keep pressure on. So anyway, all very interesting. I think that's probably about as much as I can tell you now and show you. An interesting track. I'll run it through as a video when they all get through it into the trades, and we can watch them do silly things here. Either Christian will be underway, or he might be a few days, but I'll talk about that when we come up. I don't think I can show you anything else. I'll come back up now. It's Sunday. Oh, you've got to hide the bloody messages. Okay, so here we are. So what's going on with Christian? We won't talk about the medical issue, but it wasn't an emergency, as in it wasn't an accident or anything like that. It was a medical condition that needed a doctor and possibly some more medication. So he did get in sometime. Our time, it was late last night. Got in. He hadn't given any prior notice because it was all very quick. He'd spoken to MSOS, and they said, "Yeah, you're probably best go and get some more stuff from the island." and he got ashore. He had a military escort from the boat on shore direct to the hospital. The hospital decided it wasn't an emergency and gave him some extra medication and sent him back to the boat. And then it's up to him what happens now. But they told him if he's not gone by 7 o'clock today, uh, which was about half an hour ago, then he'll have to wait until the following Monday, and I think it's Sunday today there. So you'll have to wait and then do the official entry, which will probably cost a fortune, and then carry on from there. So I have no idea. He was worried because he had flat batteries and so on. No batteries. And it'll be up to him what he does. I've given him some suggestions on what I think they should do, but at the end of the day, it's up to Christian. He's the skipper. He knows what he wants to do and how it happens. So as soon as we get more, we'll go from there and see how it goes. So hopefully we'll see him back on the road soon. What else is happening? That's about all. Everyone's still doing really well. Keep an eye on their social media feeds. Don't forget to like us. I had, I don't know whether I spoke about this yesterday. I did some numbers. We had the photo gallery from Christian had about 230, 300 likes or so, emotions. So I did a test, and less than 30% of the people that are showing emotions have actually liked the site and the page and all that sort of stuff. So please, that means 70% of people who are following us on Facebook and YouTube actually haven't liked or subscribed or joined the club, so to speak, and we're really keen to get that up there. Just it helps us a lot. So if you can, and share around. If you see something good, share it around. It's a good way of helping us if you're enjoying what you're seeing. The good news, but don't shout it out. Jane's in China, but the VPN is working, so she's bypassing the government, right? they try to stop out everywhere, but fortunately Jane can keep working. So she's beaten the system over there, and she's got the bits, but I shouldn't say that, I'll chop her off. Anyway, so it's always the best bit because I need her to keep doing things. Thank you, Jane. Might be asleep now. G'day, John. I'll just go through a couple of questions here. Setka 5, building, cannot find John Bellican's interview in Panama. No, he didn't do one. He was too busy. And right up to the last minute, his girlfriend came across. And so John's the only one that we missed out on. So that'll have to wait until Fiji, probably. But yeah, it wasn't working out right. Also, if you're in the 15 entries signed up for the Setka, perfect. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so that's all I got there. So thank you for that. We'll keep going, and when they're in the trades, totally, it's going to, as I say, it's not going to get boring, but it's going to be just a trade win race. Boom. So we'll keep up with it. And, follow all the feeds and so on. So we will see you again probably tomorrow sometime. So. I'll see if I can press the right buttons and get out of here. See you later, everybody. Thank you for following and liking. That's not the right one. Why is that one not coming up? No, that's crazy. I'm trying to get to our sign-off video. We don't want that. Something's going wrong here. I hope you're still listening. Well, I just shut it down. I'll come back here and forget about that. Pressing the wrong buttons. See you later.